Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Vertigo channel. I hope all of you have had a lovely week since I last uploaded. Today we're getting right back into the self-improvement content of the channel, which I kind of consider to be the backbone of what I do. This video will actually be very much in the family of the client file series that I released last year. Now, to those of you who are new or unfamiliar with the concept, the client files is basically an idea where I take a Smash match that I've directly participated in online and is usually defined by the opposing character suffering some funny or unfortunate fate. And then I turn that unfortunate fate into a philosophical or therapeutic takeaway designed to help you in your own life. Now, I do want to say that I had neglected to put one of the videos in the Client Files playlists on my channel. The Paulatina one, technically episode 3 of the Client Files, was nowhere to be found. I know that must have been very painful for all of you. And so from the bottom of my heart, I promise to do better. We got two characters we're looking at here. There is a Captain Falcon and a Donkey Kong. Now, even though I'm clinically intrigued by Captain Falcon as a character, we're not going to focus on him, and rather the subject of this video, or client, if you will actually be the Donkey Kong. So let's see what happens to him, and let's see what we can come up with in terms of therapeutic, functional takeaways. And without further delay, I send you off to Announcer Vertigo.
Hello, and welcome everybody to this match featuring some forest creatures against a couple of primates. Now, even on the primate team, one of them is an animal, so will we see some double agent action here? As the primate in question successfully dodges a blue shell. We've already seen our first blue shell here today, while holding onto a jetpack. Now, Colin Mando and Palkia has emerged and has turned the stage upside down. Gravity does not appear to have affected the characters, and things are back to normal. And Banjo, the bear, summons a chain chomp. He's really going after the primate. Oh, and the primate takes him out, but can he recover? He does. Now, things have been a bit chaotic to start out here. The primate's taking some heavy damage as Captain Falcon, the human, attempts to use his all-star there, but falls to his death as he's unable to recover from the punch. And Captain Falcon, to the untrained eye, it looks like he gets his teammate, but friendly fire is off. It was Banjo's Wonderling that took out the fellow primate. And K-Rool with an attempted stomp there, and actually gets an electric knee to the gut and is shot way off stage. And Banjo has yet to die. Let's see what the forest creatures are able to do with this advantage. Just want to take a moment here to acknowledge our stage. These fighters are all lighting the perilous path. Thank you, F-Zero and the franchise, for providing the stage for today's match. Bit of a back and forth there. Banjo tries a grenade, K-Rool tries the crown. A little bit of contact. And Donkey Kong, attempting the always full of serial killers dance, is unable to stop the exploding pimple that was on the back of his head. Already the second blue shell in play. It's rare that we see two of those in one game. Unfortunately, it claimed the life of Banjo. And Donkey Kong, who actually looks a bit like Mule Kong, just flailing around, seeing what hits. Donkey Kong recovers. Banjo hits him with another Wonderling. Donkey Kong with a nice spin move, a pokeball on the left. Will somebody be able to get it? K-Rool gets it in his Pyukumuku. Try saying that 5 times fast. And it is just an onslaught that results in Captain Falcon taking a hit right to the screen here. Donkey Kong is all by himself. Now, I thought there could be some double agent action here. The fighting is still going on, so Donkey Kong is legit. He is fighting alongside Captain Falcon. And Ditto joins the crew, showing a novel how to play the character. Let's see. And no help needed. Blue shell, the third blue shell. Donkey gets into the pit. He's being elevated. He can't get out. He's... And, well, after that dramatic display, the forest creatures take the dub.
I actually realized before the video that I forgot to mention that my partner in that video is my brother, aka Novel. If you've watched my last two videos, you might have noticed that I reference him, so shout out to Novel for being a very good teammate in that match. So, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't even know that you could really even do that with the blue shell, where if it strategically picks you up in the right moment, it'll just take you up until critical mass, until it explodes, and thus sending you into the Shadow Realm, or wherever the hell you ultimately go when you fire it off into the Blast Zone in Smash. I don't know if it's something that you can actually mash out of anyways. I mean, if you saw he was at like a very high percent before he sadly passed away. So, had he even mashed out, had he come back, I mean, would that have even been a life worth living? It's like, you could be 92 years old and, get your cancer cured in Lourdes, France, and if you still have other health problems, is that even a life worth coming back to? So I'm sure if you've reached this point in the video, you've probably seen that the title of the video is Blue Shells, Free Will, and Happiness. And we're going to get right into the topic of free will because it's a very interesting one. I'm going to tell you, spoiler alert, I don't have the answer as to whether or not we humans have free will. I mean, you go into determinism, right? And it basically operates under this assumption that we're all composed of tiny particles, and these particles all operate under a certain set of rules. So as you go up from those particles to cells, to tissue, to organs, organ systems, to organisms, organ systems, organisms. I think there's a rap in there somewhere. If everything follows a certain set of rules, how can there be room for chaos? How can there be indeterminism? How can there be chance when everything else operates under a system of very precise rules? Famous philosopher Thomas Hobbes had this idea that he wasn't really super into whether or not we actually had free will. It wasn't a question that was interesting to him. What he really wanted to know is, as humans, what stands in the way of us getting the things that we want? We have a will, whether or not it's free, who cares? Now, how can we make sure we're able to access and acquire the stuff that we so desire? In the spirit of best being able to give ourselves what we want, it first helps to understand what is even best within our control at any given time. In some situations, we are straight up helpless to our circumstances, yet demand that the reality around us to be different. This inevitably causes suffering. It reduces our thinking to something like, if I get what I want, then it's good and I'm happy. If I don't get what I want, it is bad and I'm miserable. You see how this could lead to some suffering? The idea that I'll put forward is a more restricted wanting. It doesn't demand that we no longer want things. It just suggests that we do it a little bit more responsibly. The thing that is most within our control at any given moment is our interpretation of the situation. This is where I believe we are most free. If we can cultivate a more reasonable, responsible attachment to our environment and our outcomes, to everything we do, I think we will inevitably be happier. I think it is also worth noting that people sometimes think of happiness as this kind of permanent, joyous, blissful state, when in reality that's usually very much not the case. I believe the better interpretation is one of peace. You are at peace with your environment, you're at peace with what's within your control and what isn't. We can attempt to change others, motivate them, reinforce behaviors that we want to see, but even still, at any given moment, our best chance of control is within.
The power within. The power within. The power within.
As I've heard before, happiness is not necessarily the destination. Happiness is the way. But can you do it? Can you convince yourself to get rid of rigid attachments? It certainly seems like a daunting task, but you gotta start somewhere. I would start somewhere like this. Pretend for a moment that your environment as it is, your present and past, everything that's been, everything you've done, everything you haven't done, everything you haven't been able to accomplish. Pretend for a moment that it's all your choice. You've chosen your exact set of circumstances, and you wouldn't choose anything different. You might as well, right? Live as if this is all your choice. Some say this gets you closer to the divine. I might say that it just gives you a more pragmatic tactic to find a balance between being okay with things the way they are and still striving to achieve new things that actually can be within your control. So, I guess if I were going to say something to that poor Donkey Kong, I would probably say something like this. Hey Donkey Kong, I know things might feel a little bit bleak at the moment, but I do think there are some ways you can still help yourself. You fought well this match, and even if a couple things didn't go your way, you still have room to be proud. Sure, you went up against a couple superior opponents, but that wasn't in your control. You simply sat down, turned on the game, played online with a friend, and got matched into us. That was not under your control. You did your best in a situation you couldn't control, so why not lean into this feeling? Act as if you chose it. And this is where you can harness your best chance at free will, if it's even something that gorillas can have. Embrace the journey, recognize your limitations, cultivate strong relationships, and keep the spirit up of really being at peace with your surroundings. Recognizing that just because you want something really, really badly, it doesn't mean that the external forces of the universe, gravity, thermodynamics, electricity, whatever the hell happens in the mind, are going to bend to your will. Unfortunately, that's just not how it works.
Oh, thank you. I can't tell you how much that helps.
I guess if I had one final thing to say, I guess I'd say that thank you guys so much for watching the video. I basically really tried to make this an ideal balance between stupid and intelligence. I kind of feel as though I accomplished that. Once again, big thank you. I massively appreciate you guys. I've been Vertigo. This has been episode 4 of the Client Files, and I'll see you next time. Hey, did you guys know that, speaking of Thomas Hobbes, that he had a famous idea for a retail chain? Yep, it was Tommy Hobby's Hobby Lobby.